Sarah's parents bought her a doll. It was a porcelain doll with rosy cheeks and big blue eyes. It sat upon her shelf, still in its box. The doll seemed to stare at Sarah. Its eyes followed her around the room. Sarah tried to ignore the doll, but she couldn't shake the feeling it was watching her. Every time she turned around, the doll's eyes seemed to be fixed on her. Its gaze was intense, almost angry. The doll made Sarah uncomfortable. She wished her parents had never bought it, but she didn't want to seem ungrateful, so she kept the doll on her shelf, trying her best to ignore its unsettling presence. Days turned into nights. Sarah felt a constant unease. The doll's eyes seemed to follow her every move. A shiver ran down her spine. She was being watched. At night, Sarah tossed and turned in her bed. The curtains swayed gently in the breeze. The moonlight cast long, eerie shadows across the room. She could feel the doll's eyes on her. Each night, the feeling intensified. It was as if the doll were growing stronger. Sarah's fear grew with each passing moment. The doll was more than just a toy. It was something sinister. She tried hiding the doll in her closet, but it didn't help. The feeling of being watched persisted, stronger than ever. It was as if the doll could see her no matter where she hid it. One night, a strange sound echoed in the silence. It was a slow, rhythmic creaking. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest. The sound was coming from the doll. Sarah pulled her blankets tighter. The creaking continued, each groan of the doll sending shivers down her spine. It was as if the doll were trying to move, to break free from its static pose. She squeezed her eyes shut, desperately wishing for the sound to stop. But it only grew louder. Sarah knew she had to face her fear. She had to see what the doll was doing. Slowly, Sarah opened her eyes and peered through the darkness. The creaking seemed to echo in her bones. The doll was moving. Its head was slowly turning towards her. The doll's head turned, its once vacant eyes now locked on Sarah. It opened its mouth and a whisper cut through the silent room. "Hello, Sarah." Sarah gasped, her breath caught in her throat. Fear paralyzed her as the doll continued to whisper. It spoke of secrets, of shadows, of things that young Sarah couldn't comprehend. Her heart pounded against her ribs. The doll's voice, though a whisper, seemed to fill the room. It was a cold, hollow sound that sent chills racing down her spine. The whispering continued, each word sending a fresh wave of terror through Sarah. She wanted to scream, to run, to escape the chilling presence that had invaded her room, but she couldn't move. Sarah's eyes widened in terror. The doll was alive, and it knew her name.